designing a garden bed, there are 6 key things that I think about. So if you've ever stood in a space and you're not quite sure where to start or where to finish or what you should be looking at, this video might be really helpful for you. So I'm standing here right at our storefront that my husband and I are going to be opening. We're actually having the grand opening next weekend. And I have a complete blank canvas to start with and design. We are on a really busy block, so hopefully you guys can hear me above the traffic. But I want to take you through the 6 things that I really consider and think through in terms of how I design this. Now, the biggest thing that I also want to put in here as a caveat is this is going to take time. So it's not going to be start to finish all completed today, but I am going to go through the entire process with you of how I am going to think it through all the way to the end. So the first things that I consider before even picking up a shovel, obviously my lighting. So which way is east and west facing, which way is north and south, to understand the path of the sun. So for me, east is that way, west is that way. And there is also a small tree that is hanging over the garden bed. So there are definitely going to be spots that are a little bit shadier than others. The second thing that I want to consider is obviously the soil. Now, when I first started gardening, I know a lot of people had emphasized your soil health, and it was something that I just didn't want to spend the money on and quite frankly ignored, and it was to my detriment and the detriment of the plants. So you really want to make sure you understand your soil in terms of whether it's clay soil, what needs to be amended, how it needs to be amended. And all you're really going to do is, as you're planting that garden bed up, putting in the compost or the appropriate amendments into the soil along with that. So for example, if you have heavy clay soil, I would be adding some ginseng into some gypsum, not ginseng, that's not gonna help it. Adding some gypsum into the soil to help break up that clay soil. And you're literally just doing it as you're planting that space up. You also want to take into consideration where your water source is and if you want to have any electrical run to the bed. These are not the sexiest things, they're not the most fun things, but if you don't think through those 4 basic foundations, it's almost like tiling over really bad leaky plumbing. It's just not going to work out for you, and you don't really want to hire a contractor who does anything like that. Same thing with your garden bed. You want to make sure that you understand where your water source is, because if it's too far away from your garden bed, frankly, it's not going to look good. You're not going to want to be out there. It's going to be more of a hassle than anything else. So if you can get a water source run to it, I would absolutely make sure to spend the extra money on that, and then just slowly plant up that garden bed a little bit slower than you would previous to it. Electrical is important in case you want to have lighting. Now, lighting is really like your icing on the cake. So if you want something that is not solar powered, you want to make sure that you have electrical run appropriately. So those are the 4 foundations that you really want to think through and inspect. So for me, I have irrigation right around the corner where I can water this bed. I also plan on running drip tubing. I've also already, like I said, checked out the light source and the soil and everything of that nature. So we're good to go ahead and start thinking about the next steps in terms of the structure of the bed. So point number 2 is going to be starting with your structural foundation pieces. So like your shrubs, your trees, and things of that nature, because those are really going to be what anchors your garden bed. Think of it almost as your big pieces of furniture in your house, your couches or your dining room tables. Those are the things that are going to anchor the room within the house, just like your trees and your shrubs are going to anchor the places within the garden bed. So for me today, I'm going to be starting with just a lot of shrubs. Now, I also want to make sure that I understand the height of the shrubs and any specific needs that they may have. Because this is our storefront, there's a couple of things that I also want to take into consideration. One, this has to be really low maintenance for me. The last thing I need is something that I constantly need to be trimming back or zhuzhing or babying throughout the season. That's not what this needs to be about. Now for me, they were these boxwoods that I had at home. Now these will require some trimming, but they don't grow incredibly fast. So for me to come out here once a year to trim them up, that to me is going to be just fine. Now I have two varieties of boxwood. One looks a lot woollier than the other. The ones that are completely green are the Green Mountain boxwoods. They do not bronze in the wintertime. And then I have these that are called Green Velvet boxwoods that do actually bronze in the wintertime. And the bronzing just means that in the colder temperatures, they have a lot less chlorophyll in their leaves. So they turn this yellowish bronzy color. I don't necessarily know if I mind that. It might add a little bit of extra type of interest into the garden bed, but I will need to trim these up because they are quite woolly looking from them being in their cans behind my shed. I also have these two forsythia that I had gotten bare root. Now they look quite small, but I'm okay with planting them really small because forsythia tend to grow really fast in our area. I did also run to a local nursery where they were having 50% off shrubs. So now is a great time to be getting any stock from last year's inventory that had overwintered in their cans. And so because I'm doing this on a shoestring budget, I was able to go ahead and scoop up about 8 shrubs, each of them 50% off. So what I did was I picked up these Sunjoy Gold Pillar barberry that are going to add a nice pop of chartreuse color into the bed. Now barberry in my area is not invasive. It's not an invasive species, so these are going to be just fine. I'm also going to be planting some daffodils as well. And then the other thing that I picked up in that sale are these Sonic Boom Red Weigela. All right, so we've thought through some of our foundation in terms of the lighting, the soil, the watering. We've started with some of our structural plants. The next thing that we want to take into consideration is scale and proportion. So this bed is about 20 feet long by 10 feet wide. You can't plant anything enormous in here, but also if you start planting just really tiny things, it's going to get lost in here and it's going to look too flat, not fat. You also want to take into consideration your different height variations. Now it's going to be a little bit tricky for me here because I have our sign that says the name of our business along with the address of the business, and I don't want that blocked by any means. So it can be very easy for me to accidentally just have everything be one flat plane across, and that's not going to look so great. So I really am going to make sure that I'm placing my taller things away from the sign in a way that it's not going to block anybody from being able to see what the sign says. I also want to make sure that anything that is a little bit fuller and round, again, does not obstruct anything that can be seen. All right, point number 4 is understanding your color scheme. So now we're starting to get into the things that are a lot more fun. My color schemes typically are your lighter pinks, your blushes, your lilacs, your soft buttercup colors, things that aren't really all that bold and vibrant. But for this bed, I want it to be a little bit different because I really want it to attract the eye. So I'm actually going to go for a lot less of those softer colors and really make sure it has a bold punch. So I did, in picking up the Weigela, I steered clear of going with the softer pink blooms, and I picked the really bold red bloom. I also purposely in the barberry picked that sharp yellow chartreuse color to make sure that it has a vibrant look to really draw the eye and attract the eye. So making sure that you have the appropriate color scheme and sticking to that color scheme, because when you walk into a garden center, if everything is in full bloom, you can get very swayed into picking a lot of different types of colors. And then when you get back to your garden bed and try to plant it, it really just ends up looking like a mishmash of different things that don't necessarily go together. Point number 5 really dovetails off of my 4th point, and that is not buying too many varieties. So for example, what do I mean by that? If you only have the budget to get 10 different plants, don't get 10 different varieties of plants. Get 5 or 10 of the same kind of plant, it adds a much bigger impact a lot faster than if you were just to get one of each. It can really make the bed look less cohesive if you have too many varieties in a small space. My last point before I stop talking and actually get to working is to take your time. This is not going to be completed overnight. This is a multi-month, possibly even multi-year project, depending on your budget and how big the garden bed is. But really, right now, I'm focused on just getting those foundational plants in terms of my shrubs and potentially maybe even a small tree. And then taking some time, assessing what it looks like, assessing if it needs more structure or if I need to add less structure, what type of structure I'm looking for. For example, in my head, I'm thinking I'm going to be adding reblooming azaleas, but I just want to make sure before I go ahead and purchase that is going to be appropriate for the size of this garden bed before I just start spending more money. The other reason why I'm taking my time, well, there's a couple of reasons. One, it's really just me and a shovel. And quite frankly, I don't work as fast as I used to, and so I have to take my time with this. But the other reason is that I'm going to be visiting the garden center throughout the entire year to make sure that this has interest all seasons. So for example, right now, based off of what I have, it's just what the garden center is putting out now, which are just your spring flowering things or things that you can plant right now. I'm going to need to go back at the start of the summer and then at the end of the summer for those heat-loving plants. Then I'm going to go back for some fall interest and potentially some winter interest. So really, this is not going to be a project that's going to be done on one Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to be okay with that, and you guys have to keep that in the back of your heads as well. As I'm placing these, I'm really just looking for balance first. I don't want everything perfectly symmetrical, but I do want it to feel visually even. I'm also paying attention to spacing and making sure that each plant has enough room to grow into itself, but still keeping them close enough that the space feels connected and intentional. I'm stepping back constantly just to make sure everything feels right from a distance. And I'm also making sure to look from multiple angles. Now, this entire bed was covered in weed barrier, which I'm personally not the biggest fan of. It might work for a short period of time, but over time it really doesn't suppress weeds the way people expect it to. Soil and debris build up on top of it, and that's where weeds start growing anyway. And then there's the problem of roots, which can actually grow into it and makes it really difficult to remove later on. It also doesn't do anything to support the health of your soil underneath, which is really what everything depends on. So instead of solving the problem, it usually just delays it and creates more work in the long run. And in this case, I can tell you it was definitely backbreaking to pull it up. All right, so I would say I'm about halfway done with the completion of this garden bed. So the biggest thing that we accomplished today is going ahead and putting in the structure behind it. And that really is the skeleton of your garden bed. And while I could probably leave it as is and not add any more to it, the only other thing that I really want to add are encore azaleas. Encore azaleas bloom in early spring and in late fall, and they are a great way to add a lot of punch into your garden bed in a very small space and a very tight budget. So I'm going to be going ahead and looking for those as we get further into season. I know it doesn't look like such a much right now, but again, remember, you're just setting the structure for your garden bed. You have to wait until things leaf out and get a little bit bigger to really fully understand what it's going to look like. But from my perspective, I think from a structural perspective, everything is in place and where it needs to be. The next thing that I'm going to be doing is looking for the filler plants and then a lot of ground cover. I think the ground cover is going to be very suitable for here because in certain spots it gets very, very rocky and it's very hard for me to dig through. So it's perfect for a shallow root system for something like a ground cover. I also think it'll be really pretty to soften up some of the edges and go over that retaining wall in the front that is leading into the sidewalk. If you guys want to see the evolution of this garden bed, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to be taking you through the entirety of it throughout the season and taking you along with me in terms of how it's evolving. I'm also going to be throwing down some mulch this week because our grand opening, like I said, is going to be on Saturday. And while that typically is the last part of the process, it really is your icing on your cake. I really want it to look neat and tidy for the grand opening. So I'm going to be doing things a little bit out of order. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.